Welcome to the ZMY Begin class. We're beginning in child's pose. So big toes together, knees apart. You can reach the arms forward if you want, just to take a stretch for your back and your spine. Rest your forehead on the floor. Or you can just come into a ball here. So let's do a little bit of surrender this morning. If it feels good to grab towards your feet, do that. Otherwise, stretch your arms forward. And there's really nothing to look at here, so close your eyes and just begin to breathe. Sometimes it feels good to roll the forehead a little bit back and forth, just kind of a signal to the brain that we're shutting the brain off and we're moving into paying attention more to what we're feeling in the body. And so as you sit here and breathe, we're not going to do any special breathing today, but I do want you to bring to the front of your mind what you need to do in this moment to dig deep, to find that space in yourself that is unshakable. Right to your core. I mean, we come to our yoga practice to remember that this is something consistent and solid and giving and unwavering. Like no matter what, we always have a choice to come back to this practice, and it keeps us unshakable. Feel that throughout the body as you breathe, and keep it in the front of your mind for your practice today. We'll take 3 more breaths here. And then if your hands are extended, just start to lift the head to bring the hands back towards the body. If you're holding your feet or reaching towards the feet, just bring the palms back to the floor. We're going to do a simple thread the needle here. So you can just take the right hand and slide it under the left if you have that flexibility. If you need to sit up off the heels a little bit to do that, go ahead and do that as well. But if you're able to do it down here, just go ahead and do it here, and then we'll find our breath. And on your next inhalation, go ahead and come back up, and we'll do the other side. Sliding the left under the right, coming into a twist, stretching the muscles in the ribs, squeezing out the organs, stretching the back muscles. Lots of benefits to twisting. And you might even feel a stretch in the shoulder socket here, the left. On your next inhale, come back to center. So back to hands and knees. And lifting up onto your knees, and just tap the tops of the feet here for a moment. Just being in that child's pose position might have caused a little bit of sleepiness in the feet. Bring the hands towards the front of the mat, all the way to the front of the mat, and we'll do big hip circles here. So we just want to make sure the shoulders don't go over the wrists. That's why we're going so far forward. So tip forward, tip to the side, back, and to the side. Just take your time here. You might get some cracking in the back. Just open up the hips, start creating heat in the joints. Find some spaciousness within the body. Once you go in one direction 3 or 4 times, go in the other direction. Just moving out anything stagnant in the body. I don't know, maybe some stressful things from the week, the day, the month, the last 20 years, whatever. Once you're done doing a few rounds in both directions, come back to hands and knees. And, you know, we were talking about like stressful things, like where does that go? You know, when you go through like 4 years of total mental health stress, or even like 1 year or whatever it is, I mean, that stuff needs to release out of the body. Sometimes it just settles and it looks like tight hips, you know? Okay, once we're done with moving the hips around, bring the hands a little bit closer to the body so we can do our cat pose. So lift the tailbone, lift the gaze, so the chin comes up just a little bit. And then as we exhale, we're arching the back, dropping the head. Go back and forth with the pace of your breath. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, arch the back. Let the head dangle here, especially if you keep that tension in your shoulders and neck. And this is a pose that it's safe to keep your eyes closed in still. So you can close the eyes, just completely feel what's going on internally. And then maybe drop the shoulders a little bit, move the hips around. And then after a couple more rounds, we'll just meet together with a flat back. Once we're at our flat back, just this is a begin class, so know that there's going to be some instruction. And if you have questions, ask questions. Realign your hands, your wrists, your fingers. Be sure that you're set up for success for this weight bearing that we're about to do. We're going to extend the right leg behind us. First, curl the toes under. I don't think you can see my toes. First, curl the toes under and just kind of shift your weight back. And try to get a little bit of a stretch in the calf muscle. And then we're going to lift the heel up, lift from the inner thigh so that the leg is lined up with the hips. And then extend the left arm out in front of you, reach through the fingertips. And we're looking for a straight line here. So if your back is dipping, I want you to bring the navel towards the spine. Look straight down at your mat now and just breathe. And then exhale, hand and knee come down. Same thing on the other side. This time when you have your arm and your leg extended, I want you to look at that left arm and the inner elbow and make sure that it's not pointing straight out. It should be rotating in to support the shoulder joint. So extending the left leg behind you with the toes curled under. Shift your weight back so you can stretch the back of the leg muscles a little bit. And then we'll lift the heel, get that foot lined up with the hip joints, extend the right arm out. Try to get bicep to ear, pinky is towards the floor, and then navel towards the spine. Lift from the inner thigh. Take a look at your inner elbow on the left arm. Make sure it's rotating in. Take 2 more breaths, looking straight down at your mat. And then bring the hand and the knee down. Knees apart, toes together. Sit back in child's pose. Use your fists to stack under your forehead this time. We're going to take 3 breaths here. Inhale, look up, hands to the mat, knees back under the hips. We're going to curl the toes under and come into downward facing dog. So hips come up, shift them back, push the floor away from you. So in down dog, it feels like you're shifting your weight from your arms back to your hips. right? The knees can stay bent. Pedal the feet out here. So it's like you're walking, just alternate bending your knee, pressing the heel towards the floor. And then keep your head down. So you're either looking, between the ankles. Eventually we get to a point where we're gazing at the navel, but for now, just look between the legs. Lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling. We can look at those inner elbows again to see that they're rotating back and in. And then let's go ahead and separate the feet to the edges of the mat. We're just going to walk the hands towards the feet. Okay. Exhale and fold, but if you need to bend the knees a little bit, do that. Grab opposite elbows, get some extra weight so you can hang forward and just kind of sway left to right. Be sure that you are really letting go of the muscles in the back of the neck, like you're completely dangling the head from a thread. Keeping the legs strong and the abdominal strong is important, but allowing the upper body to kind of pour forward is what we're looking for. And here's another place where we can kind of let things pour out, any emotional stuff, just kind of let it leave the body. Go ahead and stop your swing, release the elbows, fingertips to the mat. We're gonna walk the feet a little bit closer together and then bring our hands up to our shins. Just lengthen through the crown of the head, shoulders back here. And then slightly bend the knees, but keep the legs strong as you inhale and bring the arms up. Palms together, exhale, hands in front of the heart. Okay. So come to the front of your mat. And what we're going to be doing is mountain pose here. Get your feet lined up. Plant the feet into the mat. The arms can be dangling along the sides of the body. So there's a couple of different ways that this can, hold on one second. There's a couple of different things that happen when we come into Tadasana. And sometimes we really activate the arms. So the arms are like just kind of sticking out like this. I want you to see how soft you can let the arms go. Even the fingertips, bring extra relaxation to the fingertips and let the shoulder blades do the job. Just let the arms hang. Even let the palms face towards the legs. Just let them hang. And when we think about something as little as softening the hands just a little bit more, notice how that feels. It's like bringing this extra layer of release or relaxation. You can have the eyes closed here if that feels comfortable. And then another breath. We'll go ahead and slowly blink the eyes open. Before we move on to Sun Salutation A, inhale and bring the arms up. You're going to grab the left wrist and exhale, lean to the right. Just open up the left side of the body. And then inhale back to center, grab the right wrist, exhale, lean to the left. Back to center, bring the arms down and just kind of keep the legs straight, but twist at the hips a little bit. Let the arms kind of dangle and swing back and forth. This is actually a really good tool once you are starting to kind of let some things go. This is kind of like the way to wash all that stuff away from you, because sometimes you can let that energy go, but it still feels like it's near you. So this is how we just get rid of it. And then slow down your twisting, come back to center, and we'll inhale and bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up, come to your shins if you need to do that for a flat back. And then we'll exhale, step back and lower into chaturanga. So use your knees if you need to, but let the elbows touch the sides of the body as you lower all the way down. Inhale, lift to a cobra. Back of the legs are strong here. And then we're going to exhale into a downward facing dog for 5 breaths. So hips up and back, press the floor away from you and breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look up and begin to step forward. Exhale and fold. Inhale all the way up. Bring your palms together and exhale, hands in front of the heart. Do that one more time. Release the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees if your hamstrings are tight, but drop the head all the way. Inhale, look up, flat back. And exhale, step back, lower down to the ground, all even at the same time your body touches. Uncurl the toes, press up, chest, shoulders, head lift. Curl the toes under, bring the hips back. 5 breaths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look up, step forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Bring your palms together and exhale your hands in front of the heart. Stay here for just a moment, recalibrating the breath, kind of feeling the feels going through the body from that movement. And then inhale, bring the arms up. Interlace the fingers and exhale your hands in front of the heart. Again, inhale, reach up. Interlace the fingers, exhale, hands in front of the heart. So this is the good stuff. You're getting all of the good things, gathering them up on this inhale, and then bringing them right in. Even if that's just peace and serenity, go ahead and bring the arms down. We're going to separate the feet. So come to this sideways on your mat so you can have your sticky mat supporting you. Toes pointing forward. Bring your hands on your waist. Legs are going to be nice and strong here. So before we even go forward, have the legs straight. Lift the kneecaps so the quadriceps are engaged and the weight is taken off of the ankles. So it feels like you're kind of squeezing the thighs towards each other again, okay? Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, just tip forward here, lifting the sitting bones up towards the ceiling as you bring your fingertips down. So if your fingertips are not touching the floor here without rounding the back, just come up to a chair, or if you have a block or a book or something, use that. A small child works too. And once you're here, go ahead and drop the head. Keep drawing the shoulder blades towards each other. Legs are still strong. If you can easily fold forward with your fingertips to the floor, go ahead and just flatten your hands. Keep the shoulders back. Sometimes if we're very flexible, we have a tendency to lock the knees out and then shift the weight back. So I want you to shift your weight towards the balls of the feet to force your quadriceps to work here. We're going to take one more breath. And then inhale to look up. We're going to bring the left fingertips or hand right below the face. So we can come into a twist here, bringing the right fingertips up to the ceiling, towards the ceiling. And then bring the right hand down. Inhale the left arm up. Bring that left hand down. You're going to stay looking up with the flat back, strong legs, hands come to the waist. Anytime we're forward folding, the legs must be strong. Inhale all the way up. And then exhale, bring the feet back together, shake that out a little bit. So the balancing pose that we're going to do today, I want you to have a wall or a couch or something like that, because we're going to do a figure 4 to stretch, kind of, it'll be just like a standing pigeon pose. So you're going to take your right ankle to right above the left knee. Keep the foot flexed. And so you're going to have the wall for balance. The weight is going to be shifted into the back of the body. And then just sit back with your figure 4 until you cannot sit back anymore. Your hip will tell you when it's time to stop. If you're able to do this and reach the fingertips down to the floor, go for it. And then breathe. Keep the shoulders back. Inhale, come all the way up and release the foot. Other side. You'll notice that we're not just stretching, right? There's a lot of strengthening stuff going on here. So left ankle to right knee. Keep the foot flexed to stabilize this knee joint. Foot flexed means, okay, this is a point. We're flexing the toes towards the shin, dorsiflexion. Start to shift the weight into the back of the body, having a seat, and then see how far down you can go. Try to take 3 breaths, shoulders back, neck is long. If you can go down all the way, go down all the way. And then inhale, come all the way up. And then exhale, release. Nice, shake the legs out. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back. You're gonna lower all the way down to the ground. So use your knees if you need to. Use your left arm as a pillow. And take your right hand to your right ankle. Bring your heel towards your butt. Press your hips into the mat. If your heel is already touching the butt, you can start to slide it off the right side of the leg, but don't let it lose contact with the leg. Otherwise, you're going to be tweaking your knee in a way that's not healthy. So just breathe here. The shoulders don't need to dip forward. This is another opportunity to just strengthen the back of the body. So keep the shoulders back while the leg is stretching. One more breath here. And then go ahead and release. We'll switch pillows. So now you're resting on the left hand arm, grabbing the, resting on the right arm, grabbing the left ankle or foot. If you can reach for the ankle, preferably grab the ankle. Bring the heel towards the body, press the hips into the mat. Shoulders back. We're going to take a few more breaths here. And then go ahead and release. Bring your hands to the mat. Lift yourself to hands and knees. And we're gonna bring this right leg forward. So our legs are warmed up enough to do this. We're going into pigeon pose. We already did a figure 4 to kind of warm up the glutes and the piriformis. So what we're gonna do is take this right knee up towards the top of the mat and turning our legs into like the shape of a number 7. So you're extending the left leg out behind you. The right heel is gonna stay in the right groin. If you have the flexibility and mobility really, to start to bring the top of the leg more parallel to the top of the mat, you can do that, but otherwise keep the heel down into the groin. It's really where we begin. All right, so these are not the best pants for pigeon pose. So if you hear a rip in the background, that would be me. Go ahead and stay here using your hands to support you. Soften the hips towards the mat. Or you can go down to forearms. Here's the thing about pigeon, when we're doing pigeon in this way. I don't want you to just try to reach your head to the floor and round the back. If you're gonna go down to the floor, the spine is gonna stay neutral. So you just don't go down to the floor if the back is gonna round, just stay here. Be honest with your body. Take some breaths here. Take one more breath. And as you inhale, start to lift the head, bring yourself back to where you're supporting yourself with your hands, and then curl the back toes under. We're just going back to hands and knees here. So lift the back knee, hands and knees we go. And if you want to straighten this right leg or do some circles with the knee, move that hip joint around, you can do that. And then we'll move on to the other side. So left knee is going to come forward like a reverse number 7, and you're going to extend the right leg back. Get nice and tall in the spine here as the hips drop towards the mat. You can even press the top of the right foot to lift the back leg and adjust your hips. If your left sitting bone is really high, you're going to put a blanket or something like that underneath, okay? And then you can stay here or just keep that length and a neutral spine and go lower. Some people can go all the way to the floor and keep a neutral spine, but you might still need to support your forehead a little bit. So just keep that in mind. And just like when we were stretching the front of our legs a few moments ago, keeping the shoulders back here is important as well. One more breath. And then inhale to start to lift the head, come back to your hands if you were down further. Curl the back toes under, lift the back knee, and just very slowly, remember the transitions are important. They're critical to be safe. You can extend the back leg, do circles with the knee. And then we're gonna cross at the ankles and have a seat. We're gonna do some sitting down work. Yay. We're not going back up, just so you know. We're done with standing stuff today. Extend the legs out in front of you. We're coming into our staff pose. And so your body feels exactly like that. You're not just sitting here, you're activating the legs. It's like you're ripping the mat apart with your entire legs. And then you're using the hands to kind of help lift the chest. For me, for a very long time, because I didn't have the strength in my back, my hands had to be back here. in order to stay lifted. So do what you need to do to keep the chest lifted. You can look at the feet. We're going to take a few breaths here. If your legs are active, your toes will automatically be pointing up towards the ceiling. And now take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, concave the belly, like shallow out the belly and fold forward, reaching for, the shins, the feet. If you can grab the feet, great, but you don't have to. Pull the shoulders back. The chin stays up, reaching towards the shins. This keeps the neck neutral. And we're just going to take one more breath here. Your legs are still ripping the mat apart. Inhale, come all the way up. And then bend this right knee. We're going to drop the knee out to the side. We're going to do the same techniques that we just did for forward folding for both legs, but we're just going to do it for one leg. And it's really more accessible with just one leg. So if you're able to grab the foot, I want you to make sure that you're grabbing, the thumbs are on top of the foot and you're wrapping the fingers around the bottom of the foot, okay? So inhale, get tall. Exhale, pour the upper half of the body over the leg. If you're back here by the knee, say, that's totally fine too. You're still using and engaging all the same muscles. This left leg is being pressed into the ground and the foot is flexed. Let's go ahead and inhale and come all the way up. Close this right knee, bend the left, drop it out to the side. Inhale, lengthen, hollow out the belly. And then exhale, fold over the right leg. So when we're doing forward folds, there's a few things that are happening. We have to keep the legs active, which we talked about standing up. We have to keep our bandhas activated. So we're lifting the pelvic floor and pressing the belly in and up. And then the back muscles are activated as well. Use your back muscles to help push you towards your leg. So you're pulling the shoulders back and your back muscles are helping you too. It's a different feeling, isn't it? Like if they weren't engaged already. Oh yeah, and then there's the breathing, the focus point, all of those things too. Inhale and come all the way up, and then bring the bottoms of the feet together and drop the knees out. Inhale, lengthen. We're gonna round the back here. And then exhale, press the belly towards the spine, press the shoulder blades towards the back, and really try to drop the top of the head towards the feet. Your elbows are gonna press the knees open to keep the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale and come all the way up. Use your hands to bring the knees together. We're gonna do a strengthening pose before we lie down on our back. So I was so sad to not be able to do boat pose in my last class that we're totally gonna do it here. But we're not gonna do it fully if you don't want to. So this is full boat. You can go here. Half boat is sometimes harder, it's up to you. But when you're ready, find that spot between your tailbone and your sacrum where it doesn't hurt. Lift the legs and your palms are facing towards each other, shoulders pulled back. Lift the chest, spread the collarbones, and breathe. One more breath. Bring the feet to the floor. Wrap your hands around your knees and just give them a hug for a moment. And then we're going to go back up. Lift the legs back up and breathe. Keep your eyes on one spot. It doesn't matter what that spot is, but keep your focus here. One more breath. And lower the feet. I like to give my legs gratitude when I'm hugging them. So seriously, like your legs do a lot of work for you. Tell them that you're grateful and take a hug. Last time, ready? Oh, and by the way, I don't care if that sounds like crazy, wacky, woo-woo stuff. Like it's so real. I think I'm at an age where I just don't care anymore. Plus I'm a grandma, so 3 breaths here. Have your focus point. I bet my breaths were different than yours. Bring your feet down. All right, this is the last time, and then we're gonna lie down. Go ahead and use your hands to support you, lie down on your back. If you have a strap that you use for your practice, you can have it for this, but you don't need to. If you don't have one at home, that's fine. Straighten your left leg and then hug your right knee up towards the chest. If you can grab the big toe, grab the big toe. We're just gonna straighten the leg. And if this is not like if your knee is bending, totally fine with that. Keep your left hand on your left thigh. And what we're trying to do is at least soften the shoulders and the head towards the mat. Continue to kick through the heel. The only time this is not safe is if you're feeling a pull in the back of your knee. If you're feeling a pull in the back of your knee, you're just gonna move to hands behind the knee. Take one more breath here. And then pulling the toes up towards you, if your leg is straight, you're gonna bring that leg out to the right. If you're holding on to a knee, the knee goes out to the right, same thing. Keep the left hip on the ground or on the mat. And then bring the leg back to center. If your knee is not bent, so if you have your toe, you're gonna let go of the toe and actually bend the knee. And then use your left hand to take the knee across the body over the left side of the mat. So we're just coming into a twist here. Knee is off the left side of the mat, the right arm extends. And then let's go ahead back to center. We're gonna bring this right foot to the floor, straighten the leg, and then bend the left knee. So you're gonna try the toe first. I mean, that's part of a beginning practice too, right? Just see what you can do and see what stories you're telling yourself that you can't do. It happens all the time. We write these contracts with ourselves that are meant, they get old. So if you feel a pull behind your knee, you're gonna go down to this. Otherwise, just keep your toe. Right hand is gonna go on the right thigh. Soften the shoulders, throat, jaw, between the eyebrows, all that good stuff. Another breath or two here. And then go ahead and very slowly bring that leg out to the left, whether your knee is bent or straight. Come back to center. Everyone ends up with a bent knee, so let go of the toe if you have the toe, and then take this knee off the right side of the mat. Extend the left arm. Sometimes having the palm up is better when you have the arm extended in a twist because your shoulder can shoulder blade can flatten and your shoulder can get closer to the floor to open up the front of the body. But also sometimes the palm can be touching the floor too, and that will help keep the back of the body broad. So you decide what feels best here. Go ahead and come back to center. Bring this left foot to the floor. Bring the knees up to the chest one at a time. And we're just gonna hug the knees and rock left to right. We're gonna do one last back bend and then we'll be ready for Shavasana. Slow down your rocking, bring the feet down. Keep the knees bent so feet are flat on the mat. And we're just gonna lift. We're gonna go up maybe 2 times, but when you lift, you can just keep the palms flat on the mat to lift. Or like I was telling you about having the shoulders open, the palms facing up sometimes help here. If you wanna interlace the fingers under the back when we do this, you can do that as well. So take one deep breath in first, and then we're gonna exhale through the mouth. And then next inhale, lift the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Press the feet. Don't let the knees hang open. Use your abdominals, use your quadriceps to lift you. And then also press the shoulder blades into the back to lift the chest. One more breath. And bring the hips down. Release the spine, take a breath. We'll go up one more time. Take a deep breath in. Separate the lips and exhale. And then next inhale, lift the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing the inner edges of the feet and the heels. And lower. Take a breather here, unravel the spine, maybe start to rock the knees back and forth a little bit. And then we are gonna hug the knees one last time. Be sure that when you're hugging the knees that you lift the tailbone or the sitting bones so that the lower back is flat. And then when you do have the knees, if you wanna just take this right into a happy baby, grabbing the insides of the feet or the bottoms of the feet, you could do that, pressing the knees towards the floor and maybe rocking left to right. Just one last really good big hip opener here. Still keep the muscles in the face soft. And then we'll slow down our rocking, bring the knees together, drop the feet. And then extend the legs, bring the arms overhead and take a stretch. Once you're done with your stretch, if you feel like you need something else for the body, go ahead and do that. Maybe another twist or something like that. Otherwise, you're gonna get ready for Shavasana. So you can put on socks, get a blanket, close the blinds, anything like that. Get something to cover the eyes. And then when you're ready, just have your arms along the sides of the body, palms facing up. Separate the feet and let the toes just kind of dangle out to the sides. And we're gonna take some deep breaths here. And as you exhale, I want you to purse your lips like you're going to say the word who, and you're going to let your exhale leave the body like that. So it'll be like an inhale. As you exhale. You can even add a who as you exhale, if that feels good. So several breaths, inhaling through the nostrils and exhaling with the pursed lips. And each time you exhale, feel the muscles soften. Muscles in the face, neck, shoulders. Feel the arms and the upper body getting really heavy. And then continue that release into the hips and the legs and the feet so that the lower half of the body is getting heavier and feeling heavier with each exhale. You can begin to just breathe with the lips closed now, allowing the inhales and the exhales to do whatever natural pattern they would like to do. So you're not forcing the breath at all. You're noticing the breath. You're noticing any sensations in the body. And you're just allowing yourself to be for the next few moments. Bring your awareness back to your breath. And allow your inhalations to begin to deepen. Let your exhales be long and slow. And when you're ready, start to bring slow movement to the body. Fingers, toes, head, maybe wrists and ankles. And then you can let the legs stay feeling heavy as you bend them one at a time, just moving slowly. And then doing whatever the body needs here, a stretch. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, just stretch or hug your knees again, whatever feels good. And then we'll all end up meeting on our right side, just rolling onto your side, using your arm as a pillow. Take another breath or two here. And before you leave the mat, recultivate that inner strength that we visited in the beginning of class. Pull it out, keep it up front, and center the unshakable part of you. Go ahead and press yourself back to a seated position. Bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Thank you for letting me guide you today. The teacher in me honors and appreciates the teacher in you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.